Welcome guys to the start of a new Let's Play as we return to a long-running series on the channel with the only spin-off thus far officially released in the West. It's time to move over from defendant to prosecutor as we play Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. With a story to unfold is set between trials and tribulations and Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Let's get started with a fully voiced playthrough, hamming it up when necessary as is our way. Sit back, relax and watch the courtroom drama unfold with a twist as we press new game. And enter Turnabout Visitor. March 14th at 1:16 AM. Let's do this. Who knows where? To make sure the defendant is found guilty. What other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14th at 2:05 AM, the prosecutor's building, 12th floor hallway. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. You got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. A little bit later, 2:56 AM, the dead of night. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well, please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Nah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir, are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Look what they did to your office. It's totally trash. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Haha, it's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Is it really a coincidence the murder took place here? I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you?
No, not really. Especially because of this.
The key to your office?
For security reasons, this office door has a lock built into it.
What do you mean, sir?
If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you.
Logic?
If I find the connection between two pieces of information, and connecting them, a new information is born. That is the end result of using logic.
So how'd you use it?
Gumshoe. First I recall information through the logic button and then connect them together. Now, to touch the logic button and recall the facts. So, connect my thoughts about the crime scene and the office key. They're the only thoughts I have currently. Let's connect the dots. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir.
There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after?
You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir.
Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we?
Yes, sir.
And so we begin in a different style, because we're moving around the room.
The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir.
I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button.
If you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir.
Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Well, we've got a partner, we've got a mini-map, we've got people checking things out. Let's check out the not-so-smoking gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here.
I think I've seen one of these before.
Go to enlighten me as to where.
Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model, I think.
Detective.
I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous.
Hey, good cop.
No, think about it. You do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognise it.
So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. That's a good lead, if anything. So now that we've checked out the murder weapon, I can cry that my chessboard's been knocked over, or I could check out the dead body. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, blood, a person, a wallet. Let's check the wallet. What do we have here?
I think I've seen one of these before.
It's a police badge, detective.
Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinkydink.
Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Or shall we? So the killers go, why did this happen in my office? Well, there's a detective and a gun for a detective. Same model. So the logic would be that they're connected. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time?
Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster.
So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. So, we've written that down in our organizer.
Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir?
Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all in my noggin, by the look of the point.
Right, if you say so.
I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organize button. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver.
As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. We're on the small screen. Use the slide bar with the X and Y arrows to move in and out to get to the nitty-gritty.
Well, let's look in the chamber maybe? Well, looks like only one round was fired from this.
Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him.
Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. So that's all we're actually looking at with the gun?
The files are all over the floor, sir.
They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. My files are a mess, pointing to a struggle. Or a propulsion of the body, I don't know.
Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, it's just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless.
I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room.
Well, I water the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning so that this is a weekend special. About half day every Saturday, I come in and clean this place until it's sparkled.
Does he have a life? I mean, considering the amount of times you've cut his pay, he might not be able to afford to have one.
I don't believe it. I packed those files on these shelves so tight. And not even an earthquake can make them fall off, but just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all.
A problem, to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. So we checked out that. Let's give the body a once-over. Ah, there's blood all over his lower abdominal area.
Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir.
In other words, he was shot.
Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that.
Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. That we should do. I guess that's about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to
Jim! Why, oh why? How could this happen to a guy like you?
Are you alright?
Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be!
Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body.
The body? The body! Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure. Just in a bloodstained suit, pal.
Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor?
Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portman, prosecutor. Jacques Portman. Portsman. It's the S in the middle of the Portsman that gets me. Jacques Portsman.
Jacques Portsman? Wow. Portsman. Can it be Portman, please? Portsman makes it so much more difficult.
Prosecutor. Jimmy was my partner in crime busting.
So he's the detective to the prosecutor. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor.
Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir.
So you're Miles Edgeworth?
I guess this is your office.
Yes, that is correct.
Then it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay?
I will not. I know how things work around here. High Prosecutor's Office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has a key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it's you then? You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. Everyone calm down.
Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know how to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions?
Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake.
I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes.
You sure I won't call customer though, Mr. Edgeworth?
I've heard all the rumours about you. You're the great genius, Prosecutor.
You're something of a legend, you know.
Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay?
Nah, how about a handshake, seal the deal?
A pleasure to work with you.
You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all.
Thank you. I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim.
You there? Sir.
I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Though that's just weird, isn't it? Do you have anything to report?
Sir, yes sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction.
Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. So why did you shoot this?
Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor?
It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round.
So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster.
It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here.
Huh? Like what?
I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us.
Really?
Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my detective skills come into play. First I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. Is it the bullet? This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. Nice point, the victim's revolver. This bullet hole is the contradiction.
What do you mean, sir?
It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim. And the second felled this frame.
Hey, that's right.
However, this gun was only fired once.
Hey, that's true too.
Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here?
By the way, I noticed something, sir.
Yes?
What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame?
Ah, that. It's a secret safe.
A secret safe? Oh, I smell money.
I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way.
Roger that. Talk about dusty.
I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while.
I had no idea there was a safe here. I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in?
It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one.
Really? I had no idea.
Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence.
So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth?
Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session.
That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams.
secret safe data has been jotted down in my organizer, but we can clearly see that some of that dust is not where it should be. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. I mean, that's the most suspicious, the keypad. Now, this is odd.
You found something, sir?
This keypad, don't you find it to be a bit too clean?
Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir.
Could you please dust this area for fingerprints?
You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well.
The secret safe data has been updated. No prints were found. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Well, where can we do the dots here? The killer's goal might have actually been the safe, the signs of a struggle and all that, with another handgun. Why are they in a mess? But why did this happen in my office? Because it looks like they were after this, is what I have to say. I believe I have figured out what the murder was after.
Well, what is it, sir?
The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that what the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other piece of information can tell me about this crime. So the signs of struggle means it could be a team. It could be that someone was caught. It could be that the signs of moving everything out could be looking for the safe as well, rather than a sign of struggle. Let's have a little bit of a connection there. There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer.
Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir?
Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen.
Yes, sir. I'm going to shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library.
Sure. Let's give that a try.
Why do all the good ones always die young?
Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth.
And so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth?
First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place.
You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there.
You should know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done.
It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here.
The bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh.
I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf.
And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor's kind of grossing me out.
Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now.
But you know I'm no good with blood, sir.
I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Well, apart from, like, the handprints being outwards from where they would be displayed, there's many things wrong. The victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor, too. Those must have been made when, unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. But I guess they're not facing the wrong way? I mean, it would be... so he would be back to the shelf, putting his hands back that way, and then go down slumped. But then why did he fall to the side? So what it's actually looking at is here, because that's where he got shot at, the angle of the bullet.
So this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went for the victim, huh?
Well, the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file's spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred.
And I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. So he slipped over afterwards. There's something to deduce in the meantime. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Well, it's a question in of itself, really. So he would have been shot when being low down, is what I'd have to say. Bullet wound went through the victim's abdomen. But, like, I mean, it's just contradictory because, I mean, he looks like he was standing up, so these files are in the wrong place. So the question for me is that right or wrong? Probably wrong. There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? Well, then there's no reason for his handprints higher up. That would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The position or the order of the files, it would be. The position of the handprints is a bit weird as well, to be honest. I thought maybe he'd been slotted in. But the order of the files is how it has to be. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0. What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they're organised now is the correct order. They're exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. Well, the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. So that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith, and then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Oh, sorry, Gumshoe. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. Why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. Well, let's have a look down here, eh? This... What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait! There's got to be some mistake! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Help me! Say something, sir! It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? So one file missing. We don't care about Gumshoe because that's the way we play. Indicative indeed. My investigation is complete. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it! I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude.
And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do?
What I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique.
Ah, how do you do that? Can you explain to me, sir?
Well, might as well. Alright, first I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news.
But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right?
Correct, and at those times, I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes, by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony.
I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations too.
Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. And so it begins. The argument versus Mr. Portsman's logic. However, we will of course start that argument next time here on Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. It's gonna take a little bit for me to also get used to not calling it Phoenix right at the start of it. But as you can see, it's a new, different game. With a twist. Still some of the same elements, but many different ones. From the other side of the bench. With that said and done, we end our first episode, and I hope you enjoy the Let's Play that will soon unfold. Please remember that we have currently done all mainline Phoenix right as well, so if you haven't watched anything and want to, they're all there, all uploaded and ready for you to watch. So just to say that there, please, like, comment, subscribe, do that usual thing as we start off a new series. And I'll see you for the next episode tomorrow. Have a great day, or a great night. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.